What's up, my parlay politicians? We's back with another video. This time we're going to be breaking down UFC 319. Dricus du Plessis defends his middleweight strap against the 14-0 surging prospect. I mean, you can't even call Khamzat Chimaev a prospect no more. He's submitted in the middleweight division. But Dricus du Plessis is taking on Khamzat Chimaev, and it's going to be a banger fight. Let's go ahead and break this card down. Without further ado, the first matchup of the night, we got Karine Silva taking on Deani Barbosa in the flyweight division, the women's flyweight division. Karine Silva, 18-5 in her professional career. Deani Barbosa, 8-3 in her professional career. Karine Silva coming off that loss to Viviana Arujau, where it was a lackluster of a performance, if you ask me. I had high hopes for her to get the job done in that fight, but Viviana Arujau, tough, gritty veteran, you know what I'm saying, eked out a unanimous decision. I believe it was a learning experience for Karine Silva. Either way, she's much better than Viviana Arujau, and she showed that she had, bigger moments on the feet. It's just that Viviana Arujau just, accumulated a little bit more points on the judges' scorecards and looked a little bit better than her. But she's taking on Deani Barbosa, 8-3, coming off that win over Diana Belbita. I mean, it was a quick submission arm triangle choke in the first round. Deani Barbosa was a heavy favorite. She, on paper, had to have won that fight. There's no way she was losing that fight. But both these women credentialed in the grappling department. I give the edge to Karine Silva. Deani Barbosa, she's good on the ground too, but I think Karine Silva could be the one to, show a little bit more levels to the grappling game. Karine Silva also she's gonna have an inch in reach over Deani Barbosa, but that ain't really gonna matter. Deani Barbosa, she's solid on the feet, good straight punches. She's got a little pop in her shot, but nothing that's gonna knock her out. I mean, and then Karine Silva's good with jiu-jitsu too, so I don't see Deani Barbosa submitting her. I think Karine Silva is a little bit better than Deani Barbosa on the feet as well too. So yeah, I see Karine Silva winning this fight. I believe it does go to the judges' scorecard, so over 2.5 rounds would be a safe bet if you want to play this. Deani Barbosa is taking this fight on short notice as well too. Karine Silva was supposed to be fighting JJ Aldridge. JJ Aldridge pulled out. Deani Barbosa pulled up. There you go. You have a fight now for the pay-per-view. But the pick is Karine Silva. On to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the men's middleweight division. We got Brian Battle taking on Nursultan Ruziboyev. Brian Battle, 12-2 in his professional career. Nursultan Ruziboyev, 36-9 in his professional career. Brian Battle going up in weight after, missing weight a few times, or maybe a couple of times at the welterweight limit. So he's moving up to middleweight, I believe, to fight this one. And he's taking on Nursultan Ruziboyev, 6'5", piston-like punches straight down the pipe, coming off 2 wins, knocked out Eric McConaughey, and then he just beat Dustin Stoltzfus by unanimous decision. Everybody thought that he was going to knock Dustin Stoltzfus out, including me. I mean, I knew Dustin Stoltzfus could go a little longer than, most people had credited him for. So that's why I just put Nursultan Ruziboyev on the money line, and he came through. He's taking on Brian Battle. Brian Battle on a nice little surge in the UFC. I don't think he's actually even lost any fights in the UFC. Let me go ahead and double check this. No, he did. He lost to Renat Fakhretdinov, and Renat Fakhretdinov out wrestled him heavy in that fight. But other than that, I mean, Randy Brown. Yeah, he's got a split decision win over Randy Brown too. That's probably one of the best wins on his resume. Is that Randy Brown win? Knocked out Kevin Jusay. I mean, Kevin Jusay, he was a bum. Sorry, just low fight IQ. It is what it is, though. Ruziboyev, I mean, he's going to be the crispier striker. Brian Battle, when he initiates takedowns, he gets kind of sloppy with them. He's got pressure, though. Brian Battle does have pressure that he's going to have on his side, but when he's able to pressure other fighters. It's in the welterweight division, holding guys who, are a little bit, his size or maybe undersized, but trying to do that to Nursultan Rizziboyev, who's 6'5". I mean, he's got pretty decent takedown defense, pretty decent takedown offense as well. I mean, he's got jiu-jitsu in his back pocket. He's got plenty of wins by sub too, but his bread and butter is knocking people out. Um, yeah, I think I honestly, my heart tells me Nursultan Rizziboyev will beat Brian Battle, because I don't think the pressure heavy style that Brian Battle brought to the welterweight division is going to translate too well against, certain middleweights, and one of the middleweights is being Rizziboyev. So you making your debut in that division against Rizziboyev in the UFC, that's a tall task of a fight. Like I said, Rizziboyev, good straight punches, piston like, sniper like, clean. Brian Battle, pressure, volume. I mean, volume to an extent. He'll press you up against the cage and rack up points that way, but I don't think he'll be able to do that to Nursultan Rizziboyev. The pick here is going to be Nursultan Rizziboyev. He is an underdog here too. Yeah, on to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the men's lightweight division. We got Edson Barbosa taking on Drakkar Klose. Edson Barbosa, 24-12 in his professional career. Drakkar Klose, 15-3 in his professional career. Edson Barbosa, arguably a legend of mixed martial arts at this point. I mean, the dude's fucking 6 months shy of turning 40, still in great shape, and he's still, in his last few fights shown that, he can go long, he's durable, and he can have big moments in these fights as well. Drakkar Klose they're both coming off losses. Lerone Murphy beat Edson Barbosa over a year ago. Edson Barbosa, he had some success earlier in the fight. I believe Lerone Murphy caught a leg kick, tripped Edson Barbosa. Edson Barbosa hit him with an up kick, knocked him out for a brief second, but he really got saved by the bell, because I believe it was at the end of the round. And then, as the fight goes on, Lerone Murphy just takes off on him, more volume, more urgency to win. I mean, that's what happens when you're taking on somebody like Lerone Murphy, who's also in his card. We'll be breaking down that fight as well, too. But yeah, Edson Barbosa, before losing to Lerone Murphy, beat Sadiq Youssef by unanimous decision and knocks out Billy Quarantillo. Billy Quarantillo had a decent amount of hype behind him. Edson Barbosa derailed it. Fights before that really don't matter too much anymore. Lost to Bryce Mitchell damn near 4 years ago. Lost to Giga Chikadze damn near 4 years ago as well. Drakkar Klose coming off that knockout loss to Yoel Alvarez. Yeah, it was pretty nasty. But before that, beat Joaquin Silva by unanimous decision. Beat Joe Selecki by slamming him. Yeah, these are the only few fights that actually are even worth talking about, because the other ones are there damn near 4 years ago as well. But what we've seen from Drakkar Klose in his last fight, or yeah, he got knocked out. But even the fights before that, like when he took on Benil Dariush, I mean, Benil Dariush had him on fucking skates, you know, several times in their fight before he found the KO shot. So my question is, can Drakkar Klose chin hold up in this fight, And I don't think his chin can hold up. You got Edson Barbosa standing across from you, dynamic striker, throws with intensity, throws with ferocity. They both old, they're both getting up there in age. So I mean, it's a battle of the unks at this point. I think Edson Barbosa is just the cleaner of the unk. I mean, on paper, Drakkar Klose 15-3. That's a good fucking record. 9 times out of 10, these are the guys that get the job done over someone who's 24-12. But I think Drakkar Klose, his chin just can't take a punch like that anymore. He got wobbled by a jab, what I'm saying, by Benil Dariush, before Benil Dariush, found that thunderous shot to put him away. Yeah, so my pick here is Edson Barbosa. I mean, he's fought the much better competition. He's been fighting a murderous row of competition, pretty much his whole entire career. And he's taken on some up-and-comers, and he's proved the up-and-comers wrong. Fell short to Lerone Murphy, but I think he gets the W here over Drakkar Klose. I'll take Edson Barbosa via knockout or Edson Barbosa via decision. On to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the men's lightweight division. We got Chase the Gooner Hooper taking on Alexander Hernandez. Chase Hooper 16-3 in his professional career. Alexander Hernandez 16-8 in his professional career. Chase Hooper he's riding a nasty fight win streak right now. I believe it's more than a 5-fight win streak. Chase Hooper's been looking pretty fucking solid. No, yeah, it's more than a 5-fight win streak. Uh, Two, three, four. It's five exactly. But yeah, Chase Hooper looking good. His last fight got the dub over Jim Miller by unanimous decision. A lot of people, thought Chase Hooper was gonna just submit old man Jim, battle axe Jim as they call him. But Jim Miller, he's a gritty veteran, and Chase Hooper gutted out a unanimous decision where he definitely rolled Jim Miller, rolled him up. Fight before that, arm bars Clay Guida in the first round. Fight before that is the fight that shocked everybody when he submitted Vyacheslav Borchev in the second round via Darce choke. I mean, in the first round, he even dropped Vyacheslav Borchev, had him looking all type of crazy. And Vyacheslav Borchev is supposed to be, the dynamic striker. Everybody thought that he was going to put Chase Hooper out, myself included. Chase Hooper showed that, he's been working his craft and he's polishing up all the rusty parts of his game, and he's been looking good, man. His striking's been looking good. He's got superior wrestling, or superior grappling, I should say. His jiu-jitsu is phenomenal. He's taking on Alexander Hernandez, who is gritty, tough motherfucker, tough customer. Alexander Hernandez coming off that unanimous decision win over Kurt Holloway, that split decision win over Austin Hubbard. And to the fight before that, lost to Damon Jackson via split decision, and then lost to Bill Aggio a year ago, or almost 2 years ago, via split decision. And he also beat Jim Miller by unanimous decision too, as well. So that's something that they do have in common. Yeah, Chase Hooper made it look a little easier though. Alexander Hernandez, he's gritty, he's tough. He's got decent stand up. He does just about everything, not phenomenal, but he does everything sound and of technique. And he was a surgeon prospect at one point, but that's neither here nor there. He's gonna have the disadvantage in the grappling department. He'll have the advantage in the strength and the physicality, but even in the striking department, Chase Hooper's been looking better. I could see Chase Hooper popping him up, catching him with some shots that he doesn't see coming. And when this fight goes down to the ground, I can see Chase Hooper just having his way with Alexander Hernandez. The pick is going to be Chase Hooper via submission or Chase Hooper via unanimous decision. On to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the women's strawweight division. We got Jessica Andrade taking on Pupi Lupita Godinez. Jessica Andrade 26-14 in her professional career. Lupita Godinez 13-5 in her professional career. Jessica Andrade coming off 2 back-to-back losses. One to Jasmine Jasudavicius via rear naked choke in the first round, and then coming off of the terribly one-sided beatdown by Natalia Silva. Jessica Andrade, at one point she was a former, champion of the strawweight division. Slammed Rose Namajunas on her head to take the title from her. Didn't hold on to the title long. Lost it immediately in her title defense. Jessica Andrade is a legend in the women's strawweight division, believe it or not. There's probably people out there who would disagree with that, but whatever, fuck them, I don't care. These are what my eyes see. Anyway, Jessica Andrade, she is, a legend in the women's strawweight division and in the UFC in general. Been around for a long fucking time. And I think, while she's not old, I think that her MMA fight years, she's old in MMA fight years. Now it's like she just taking these fights, that's the 2 losses she just had, were both within this year. She's active. I'll give her that. She's active, but is she hungry? I think this boiled down to who's the more hungrier fighter, who's actually trying to, earn their way into title contention. And I think that fighter is Lupita Godinez. She's coming off that win over Julia Palastri about 4 months ago. It was a close fight. I ain't gonna say it was too close. I had Lupita Godinez winning clearly, but Julia Palastri showed that she's a formidable opponent. She's just not a pushover. She's scrappy as fuck. But Lupita Godinez got the fight done. She lost the third round. And the reason why you hear me say poopy Lupita Godinez, because in between rounds, when she was taking a break from the second round, going into the third, or she pretty much told her coaches, like, man, I gotta take a shit. So I need to get this shit over with, or I gotta just play this shit safe. And I don't blame her, because nobody want to see that shit on, national TV and or pay per view, whatever the fucking fight card was. But you get the gist of where I'm going with this. She's going to be the much better fighter. She's gonna have an edge in the boxing, and she's gonna have an edge in the wrestling department. Andrade showed a clear hole in her game her last fight, where she got choked out by Jasmine Jasovicius, who is a pressure wrestler, heavy on that wrestling base. And she's not going to. Lupita Godinez ain't going to implicate what Jasmine Jasovicius did, but she will mix in the takedown. She's well rounded, and I believe Lupita Godinez will beat Jessica Andrade via unanimous decision or a submission. I don't think she knocks out Andrade, and I don't think Andrade knocks her out. Lupita Godinez sound with her boxing, sound with her offense and defense. So that's the pick. On to the next one. Next fight on the card, we got GM3 Jared Mearshart taking on Mikhail Alajaychuk. Gerald Mearshart, 37-19 in his professional career. Mikhail Alajaychuk is 20-9 in his professional career. Jared Mearshart coming off 2 back-to-back losses. He got submitted by Renair de Ritter, RDR, and then he lost a unanimous decision to Brad Tavares. Mikhail Alajaychuk coming off that KO or TKO over Cedricus Dumas in his last fight. Fights before that was on a 3-fight losing streak, losing to Mikel Pereira, Kevin Holland, and Shara Magomedov. But he does have a win over Chini Njokuani. That's aging pretty fucking good. So I'm just keep this shit brief and short. You take Jared Mearshart by submission, or you take Mikhail Alajaychuk by knockout, or you take this fight to not go the distance. That's it. Cut and dry. I believe Mikhail Alajaychuk can get the knockout, but at the same time, I believe Jared Mearshart can get the submission, because Mikhail Alajaychuk has been submitted before, and that's a hole in his game, because he's more of a stand-up fighter. But he's switched training camps since then, and fighting out of Brazil with the Fighting Nerds, maybe they got a recipe for GM3 that they can implement this Saturday and come out with the dub. But the best pick for this fight, and I picked this with 100% confidence, is Mikhail Alajaychuk by knockout or Jared Mearshart by submission. That's the official pick. On to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the men's lightweight division. We got Bobby Green taking on Diego Ferreira. Bobby Green, 32-17 in his professional career. Diego Ferreira, 19-6 in his professional career. Bobby Green coming off 2 back-to-back losses. Fucking Mauricio Rufy spinning heel kicked him, knocked him out 5 months ago. And then Paddy Pimblett triangle choked him out a year ago. Literally choked him out, put him to sleep. But the fight before that, he beats Jim Miller by unanimous decision. Pieced Jim Miller up all throughout the fight. It was a one-sided beatdown. Fight before that, loses to Jalen Turner by TKO. Jalen Turner definitely shredded some years off of his life with that vicious knockout. The referee could have stepped in a long time ago, but we ain't gonna talk about that. Bobby Green, that was a bad loss, bad knockout. Like I said, shaved some years off his fighting career for sure. Fight before that, beats Grant Dawson. Fluke win over Grant Dawson. I give him that, because Grant Dawson should have won that fight, no doubt. But Grant Dawson gets knocked out. So credit to Bobby Green, because, on paper, that looks really, really fucking good, because Grant Dawson been looking pretty damn good. Taking on Diego Ferreira. Diego Ferreira coming off that unanimous decision loss to Grant Dawson, where he was just out grappled. He had good striking moments, but when you got a pressure heavy wrestler like Grant Dawson on you, there ain't much you're going to be able to do with that. Fight before that, he TKOs Mateusz Rebecki. Mateusz Rebecki just he just lost to Chris Duncan. So, Mateusz Rebecki, I already knew, like, he should have lost that Mikdebek Orobly fight too. I don't believe he won that fight, but he's a tough first couple of round fighter. But after that, he starts to slow down, and Diego Ferreira took advantage of that. Fight after that, or before that, he knocks out Michael Johnson, overhand right, puts him to sleep. Got submitted by Gamrot, or he tapped out due to strikes by Gamrot, and then he gets knocked out by Gregory Gillespie. But these are damn near fucking 5 years ago fights, so we ain't even gonna count those in right now. So we just gonna judge them off their last three. Knockout over Michael Johnson. Aging good. Michael Johnson's a veteran. Michael Johnson's got knockout power his damn self. He's just coming off of a knock. Wait, no, he's coming off that win over fucking was it Ignacio Bahamondes? Or is it Daniel Zellhuber? Yeah, Daniel Zellhuber. Yeah, Michael Johnson beat Daniel Zellhuber. Yeah, Daniel Zellhuber. Daniel Zellhuber. Yeah, never putting you in a parlay again, buddy. You screwed that up. But anyway, went over Mateus Rebecki as well. KO win. Bobby Green last three fights, beat Jim Miller by unanimous decision, loses to Paddy Pimblett via triangle choke, got put to sleep, and then gets spinning heel kick knocked out by Mauricio Hufi. Yeah, I believe Diego Ferreira can get the job done. His last three fights are more impressive opponents than, Bobby Green. Well, I can't really say more impressive. Bobby Green's last two opponents, Paddy and Mauricio, they're next fight on the card is in the men's the men's flyweight division. We got Tim Elliott taking on Kai Asakura. Tim Elliott 20-13 in his professional career. Kai Asakura 21-5 in his professional career. Definitely decent.
Tim Elliott coming off that win damn near 2 years ago over Sumadarji.
Gets the job done here.
Fight before that, loses to
the accumulation of damage he's taken in his last few
arm
fights.
Triangle.
Just don't sit right with me picking
fight
him
before
here,
that,
so,
unanimous
Diego
decision win over
Victor
Altamirano. Fight before that, Beast Tagir wouldn't back off.
Man, this is a fight where you just
win,
bet the money lines.
Damn near 4
stay
years
away
ago.
From the over, stay away from the unders.
Is a different fighter from 4 years ago.
Diego Ferreira is the pick.
So
on to the next fight.
Yeah, I mean, Tim Elliott's been out of the cage for almost two years. Kai Asakura coming off that loss 8 months ago to Alexandre Pantoja, where he made his UFC debut and entered into a title shot immediately. So can't really fucking sit here and fault him for that. Like, oh well, yeah, he lost to fucking Alexandre Pantoja. Alexandre Pantoja is the champion. So it is what it is. Before losing to Pantoja, knocks out Juan Archuleta with a knee to the body. Before that, knocks out a guy named Yuki Motoya, knockout, knee to the body. Loses to Hiro Masa Ojikubo. I don't know how to fuck even pronounce that shit, but you get where I'm going at with this. That fight was about 3 years ago. Fight before that, or fight after that, was about 2 years ago, and then he just lost to Alexander Pantoja 8 months ago. Yeah, Tim Elliott is gonna have the pressure wrestling on his side, but it's not really pressure wrestling. I mean, he's not like super phenomenal at it, but he can mix it in. Kai Asakura is going to have a significant advantage on the feet. Tim Elliott, he's gritty, man. He's tough. We've seen him dog out some shit. We've seen him, even on the Ultimate Fighter. He's an Ultimate Fighter winner. Won a title shot against Demetrius Johnson. Lost that fight, but ultimately took Demetrius Johnson to 5 rounds. I mean, Tim Elliott is not no fucking just bum. I mean, he's not really like a typical journeyman. He's always game. He can still get it done. But at the end of the day, Tim Elliott is 38 years old. So Kai Asakura is 31 years old. So Tim Elliott's got less tread on his tires. You feel me? He's been running it up out here. And Kai Asakura is still entering his prime. Kai Asakura with the advantage in the striking department, I could see Tim Elliott, getting desperate, trying to shoot a takedown, and Kai Asakura, known for his knees up the middle, catching Tim Elliott right in the solar plexus can hurt him very bad. Kai Asakura's got some fucking quick, dynamic, powerful strikes. I mean, he had successful moments against Alexandre Pantoja in their fight. He hit Pantoja with a big knee. He would have hit anybody else with that knee. Oh yeah, they would have been asleep. Pantoja just made it something different. But yeah. The pick is a slight lean on Asakura. I mean, I'm not completely sold on him yet, but on paper, he's the much better fighter, and he should be able to get this win over Tim Elliott. My prediction is Kai Asakura via TKO or Kai Asakura via unanimous decision. On to the next one. Next fight on the card, we got Jared Cannonier taking on MVP Michael Venom Page. Jared Cannonier 18-8 in his professional career. Michael Venom Page 23-3 in his professional career. Jared Cannonier coming off that knockout win over Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez about 5 months ago. Michael Venom Page coming off that unanimous decision win over the prospect and Shar Bullet Magomedov about 6 months ago. Gave Shar Bullet his first L. The fight before that loses a unanimous decision. Unanimous my ass. It was not a unanimous decision that he lost to Ian Gary. If anything, I would say it could have been a split decision that went in Michael Venom Page's favor because Ian Gary just resorted to being a wrestler, and Michael Venom Page literally outstruck Ian Gary. So yeah, I ain't even gonna trip on that. Fight before that, he beats Kevin Holland via unanimous decision. It was just too fast for him. Kevin Holland couldn't do shit. Now those are his 3 fights in the UFC. He is 2-1 in the UFC since making his debut, taking on a chiseled veteran in Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier is super game, 30 or 41 years old, but just knocked out Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez. He showed everybody that he's not done yet. Fight before beating Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, he loses unanimous decision to Kyle Borahio, where Kyle Borahio just did what he had to do against Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier had his moments though, hit him with some big shots, knocked Kyle Borahio's head back, snapped his shit back a couple of times, but ultimately Kyle Borahio, outdid Jared Cannonier and almost finished him. Fight before that, loses to Nasruddin Imavov. It was an early stoppage, but Nasruddin Imavov was on his way to knocking him out regardless. But I still say that it was an early stoppage. You got to give a veteran like Jared Cannonier more time to recover because he was rocked, but he was still on his feet, and it could have played out a little longer. 2 years ago, he beat Marvin Vettori via unanimous decision, beat Sean Strickland via unanimous decision almost 3 years ago. So Jared Cannonier has literally got a murderous row of opponents in the fucking middleweight division that he's fought, and he's fought the who's who. I mean, he's taking on a very dynamic striker, somebody who's a much different opponent than he's ever faced. Michael Venom Page going to be bouncing in and out, picking his shots perfectly, dancing around Jared Cannonier. Jared Cannonier's best path to victory here is to mix in the takedowns. If he could get the takedowns in, yeah, he could beat Michael Venom Page. But if he doesn't get the takedowns, he gets them stuffed, and he just stands on the feet or try to press Michael Venom Page up against the cage. Yeah, Michael Venom Page is going to just pick him apart. I mean, Michael Venom Page has some of the most highlight reel knockouts out of anyone in the UFC, or not even just UFC. Just he's got the best highlight reels out of most mixed martial artists across all the promotions. I mean, kicked the motherfucker in his kneecap, shattered his kneecap. The fucking flying knee that he hit Cyborg Santos with crushed his fucking frontal lobe, literally crushed his skull. Yeah, Michael Venom Page, if he hits you clean, he can do very, very career changing things to you. I don't know what type of power he fucking with, but it's of a different caliber. So, and that's why Ian Machado Gary fought him the way he fought him, because he already knew if I get hit clean by this motherfucker, he gonna do some damage. Jared Cannonier is gonna be there to be hit, but he hits back too, and he hits back just as hard. This fight is a tough one to actually predict. Um, Jared Cannonier, like I said, he's fought a murderous row of UFC competition. Just about everybody he's fought is way better than anybody Michael Venom Page has fought. You feel me? Like these guys that Michael Venom Page beat in these other organizations, if they came over to the UFC, they wouldn't even break out of the top 20, in my opinion. Um, yeah, but Venom Page is a different breed. Just because he been beating up on motherfucking, not the greatest of competition. I mean, he is a person who is very dynamic, very good, very sound when it comes to his striking and the way he, has fun and becomes a flow state fighter. Yeah, I think he can have bigger moments than Jared Cannonier here. Jared Cannonier hasn't really went to that well of trying to wrestle opponents. So I mean, does he implement it now? I don't think so. I think Jared Cannonier is just gonna be Jared Cannonier. He's gonna go out there and have a fucking 3-round war. with Michael Venom Page, and I think Michael Venom Page can edge out a decision on the scorecards. I don't see Michael Venom Page knocking out Jared Cannonier. Michael Venom Page, like he's fighting at the middleweight weight class now, so he's gonna have more power, he's gonna have the speed advantage, probably gonna have Jared Cannonier's got some good ass cardio. They're both gonna have good cardio. Jared Cannonier can last, so I can't say who's gonna out cardio who. I would give the slight edge to Jared Cannonier in the cardio department if I had to. But yeah, I don't think he's gonna implement a wrestling approach here and try to just smother MVP. I think he's going to go out there. He's going to bang with MVP. It's going to be a 3-round war, and I believe it'll go to a split decision. And I think Michael Venom Page, well, if it goes to a split decision, they might give it to Jared Cannonier, to be fair. But then again, they might give it to Michael Venom Page because he's not 41. I mean, yeah, Michael Venom Page is 38 years old, but there's still room to create a star out of him in the UFC. I mean, he was a star over in Bellator, one of the biggest fighters, biggest draws in the whole company. So, yeah, I think this fight goes long. I think Michael Venom Page can etch out a decision win over Jared Cannonier. But I would not be surprised if Jared Cannonier edges out a decision win over Michael Venom Page. So I do think this fight goes long. So the best bet is this a fight over 2.5 rounds. On to the next one. Next matchup on the card is in the men's welterweight division. We got Jeff Neal taking on Carlos Prates. Jeff Neal, 16-6 in his professional career. Carlos Prates, 21-7 in his professional career. Jeff Neal coming off of that win over Rafael dos Anjos. It was a leg injury. They scored the fight as a TKO for him. I mean, he was rocking RDA ass up, though. Let's just be real. He was hitting RDA way harder than RDA was hitting him. So he's probably going to go on to win that fight regardless of the leg injury or not. Fight before that loses a split decision against Ian Machado Gary. Fight before that loses a standing rear naked choke to Shavkat Rakhmonov. Now, so he is 2-1 in his last three, and his only victory is that leg injury that Rafael dos Anjos sustained during their fight, and he's taking on Carlos Prates. Carlos Prates coming off that loss to Ian Machado Gary, where if Carlos Prates just turned it on, he would have won that fight because he had Ian Gary super hurt in the last round of that fight, had him hurt bad, and yeah, just couldn't get that finish. It is what it is. Carlos Prates, one of the biggest prospects in the fucking welterweight division right now, was on a nasty fight win streak, a nasty KO streak to be exact. I mean, he was KOing just about everybody in the fucking welterweight division before he ran into Ian Gary, who is a puzzle to be solved. I mean, Ian Gary, we got to give him his credit. We got to give him his flowers. The dude's good. He's dynamic. He's crafty. He can mix it. He's a complete mixed martial artist, to say the least. Who cares about what he got going on in his personal life? Other than that, give that man his respect because, yeah, he's good. But anyway, Jeff Neal, sound boxer, man. That's all he really does, though. Like, he doesn't mix up his MMA game. He comes out there, heavy hands. He'll throw some heavy low kicks, but his bread and butter is his boxing, and Carlos Prates just has more ways to win. I'm just be honest. I'm just going to keep it real. Jeff Neal, he can hit hard. Carlos Prates has Dutch. Carlos Prates has death touch in all of his limbs. I mean, the man's got Muay Thai tatted across his chest. So he's going to have a significant edge in the striking, a significant edge in the timing, and he's going to have more ways to win this fight. So I'm going to take Carlos Prates to beat Jeff Neal. I can see Carlos Prates. I mean, Jeff Neal really doesn't get knocked out, though. I don't think Carlos Prates is going to submit Jeff Neal, but yeah, Jeff Neal, the only last time he was knocked out was in 2017 against Kevin Holland. So yeah, I'm just gonna take Carlos Prates to get the job done. Just money line it. Carlos Prates should be able to put some steam on his punches and hurt Jeff Neal plenty of times in a fight. And like I said, he does have death touch, so he could potentially be the first man to knock Jeff Neal out. since 2017. Give me Carlos Prates. I think he gets this job done. I think he gets back into the win column, back into the title talk contention. Well, I mean, he needs to obviously win a few more fights before you talk about giving him a title shot. But yeah, on to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the men's featherweight division. We got Lerone Murphy taking on Aaron Pico. Lerone Murphy 16-0 in his professional career. Aaron Pico 13-4 in his professional career, making his UFC debut this Saturday. And for those people who don't know who Aaron Pico is one of the most credentialed wrestlers on the planet. Aaron Pico is a great fucking boxer. Aaron Pico has hands of stone. Aaron Pico throws with bad intentions every time he throws, and his wrestling is top level. Now, he's taking on a 16-0 prospect in Lerone Murphy. 16-0 for a reason, by the way. I mean, he's never lost a fight in the UFC. And how many fights in the UFC has Lerone Murphy had? He's had quite a lot. Let me see. I'm gonna count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, these are canceled bouts, so that don't count. He's had over fucking 10 fights in the UFC? All right, let me just look. Hold on, give me a second real quick. 8 fights in the UFC. And he's undefeated, 8-0 in the UFC. And this is a very, very dangerous fight for Lerone Murphy to take. I'm just going to be honest with you. Because Aaron Pico is a fucking savage. Aaron Pico is a dog. With all this being said, I'm picking the underdog in Lerone Murphy to win. And here's why. These fighters, when they come from different organizations into the UFC, they have a lot of hype behind them. I mean, just think about Pitbull that we just saw. Think about Patchy Mix we just saw. And they all have been taking shits their very first fights. Aaron Pico, though, on the other hand, he's only 28 years old. The UFC can still bring in, I mean, he can be a huge fucking draw in the UFC. It's just a very, very, very tough task taking on Lerone Murphy in your debut. Aaron Pico by knockout or Lerone Murphy by unanimous decision. But at the same time, too, I could see this fight not going the distance because Aaron Pico has been knocked out, 2 times in his professional career? I know he got knocked out by Henry Corrales back in 2019, and then he lost another knockout to Adam Boric in 2019 in Bellator. Since then, he has been on a fucking tear. Since then, he has learned a lot. He's learned his lesson, but the fighters he's fighting are not caliber of Lerone Murphy. I mean, the closest person to Lerone Murphy that, with a similar record would be the fight where he fought against Justin Gonzalez, who was 12-0, and he beat Justin Gonzalez by unanimous decision. Yeah. Aaron Pico just knocked out Henry Corrales last year, 2024. Henry Corrales is a tough customer, but past his prime days. A win over Pedro Cavallo, not impressive. Win over James Gonzalez, and not impressive. Man, yeah, I think Lerone Murphy gets the job done here, man. No cap. Aaron Pico is going to be a very good fighter to watch in the UFC, though. I'm gonna just say that right now. He's gonna put on exciting fights. He's gonna put people to sleep. If he puts Lerone Murphy to sleep, I wouldn't say I'm surprised. But Lerone Murphy is 16-0 for a reason, 8-0 in the UFC for a reason. Yeah, I think Lerone Murphy earns a title shot after this fight, to be honest with you. So the pick is going to be Lerone Murphy, and he's an underdog too, so you can make some extra money on that. Pico's a savage. This is one of the most anticipated fights that I'm looking forward to on this card. This could easily be a pay-per-view of another UFC card. But for now, we'll take it as a co-main event. Give me Lerone Murphy to get the job done over Aaron Pico. But yeah, keep your eyes on Aaron Pico. He gonna wow y'all. He might wow you Saturday, to be honest. So yeah, this is a fight to definitely just enjoy. On to the next one. Next fight on the card is in the men's middleweight division for the middleweight strap. Our main event of the night, Dricus du Plessis taking on Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus du Plessis 23-2 in his professional career. Khamzat Chimaev 14-0 in his professional career. Both fighters riding high on win streaks. Khamzat Chimaev on a 14-fight win streak. Dricus du Plessis, let's count what this win streak is for him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Dricus du Plessis on an 11-fight win streak and the current reigning champion of the middleweight division. Successfully defended his belt against Sean Strickland, where he beat his ass again. So, yeah, he beat Sean Strickland worse this time around, though. So it is what it is. Khamzat Chimaev, man, one of the best wrestlers, grapplers in the middleweight division, in the UFC in general. Fucking middleweight Khabib Nurmagomedov type deal we got in Khamzat Chimaev. He's coming off that win over Robert Whitaker, where he hit Robert Whitaker with a face crank in the very first round, and he exerted so much force that he broke Robert Whitaker's jaw and pushed his one, two, three. He pushed like 3 or 4 of his bottom teeth back. Literally, like broke his gums. I can't like, yeah, he broke his jaw. Just put it that way, because it's hard to explain, but fucked Robert Whitaker up. Everybody was like, oh, Robert Whitaker, he's going to be able to beat Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev might take him down, but he's nobody that he's going to be able to hold down easy. And Khamzat just completely just damn near popped his head off. Khamzat Chimaev is strong as shit. Put it that way. Dricus du Plessis, well-rounded, sloppy-ass striking, but it's very effective. He makes it work. But the sloppiness of his striking does leave him open for takedowns that Khamzat Chimaev will land. Will Dricus du Plessis be able to utilize his get-up game and get back to the feet? I'm going to say no. I think when Khamzat gets him down, he just imposes his will over Dricus du Plessis, and Dricus du Plessis finally realizes, like, fuck, this dude is strong as shit, and I can't get him off me. Dricus du Plessis, he might have the edge in the striking department, but Khamzat Chimaev, his striking is not bad. Is getting good too. You know, like he can strike, but his bread and butter is his grappling and his submission game. Once he gets a hold of you, he's gonna try to take something off you. He's gonna try to strangle you. He's gonna try to rip off an elbow. Gonna try to rip off a knee. All type of shit can happen to you when you fighting this crazy. Look at the man. He looked like a motherfucker that'll rip something off you, no doubt. Like, and Dricus du Plessis, man, like he's good. Like I said, sloppy though with his punches, and there's just too many holes in that game to where you could throw a big looping shot and get fucking ran through with a powerful double leg takedown. I think Khamzat Chimaev takes him out here, man. Dricus du Plessis very durable though. I'll give the edge and cardio to Dricus du Plessis. And I can't judge a fight based on, well, if Dricus du Plessis survives the first round, I can't do that. Not in this fight, specifically not in this fight. Khamzat Chimaev has shown dominant grappling. Once he grabs a hold of you, it's something that most fighters don't run into too often. Most fighters run into, good grapplers, but running into an elite grappler is a different fucking type of feeling. I mean, he took down Kamaru Usman, who's like the second best wrestler in the middleweight division. So, yeah, I think Khamzat Chimaev can submit Dricus du Plessis. And I think we'll have ourselves a new middleweight champion in Khamzat Chimaev. Dricus du Plessis, I mean, he's earned my respect, but especially his last fight with Sean Strickland. I mean, he really showed that he's kind of evolving with his strikes, but they're still fucking sloppy. And then the first fight he fought with Strickland, no, not even the Strickland fight. Who was it where he's been taken down in the UFC? Let's just put it that way, by a lower level of competition. When Khamzat Chimaev goes in for that takedown, he secures it, and it's going to be a different type of energy exerted from Dricus du Plessis just trying to get back to his feet. But we've seen Dricus du Plessis have some gas tank issues as well too. You know what I'm saying? Don't get me wrong. And Khamzat Chimaev, his gas tank issues were at welterweight when he fought the fucking Kamaru Usman, where he fought Gilbert Burns. But at the end of the day, he still beat him down. So yeah, Khamzat Chimaev is the pick. UFC 319. Let's bounce back in the win column and let's get these dubs. But before we get up out of here, let me give you guys my most confident picks of the card, the top 5 locks of the night. Let me get Edson Barbosa. I believe he'll be able to stuff the takedowns. He's going to have a clear edge in striking, and I believe he can find the chin of Jakar Close. Let me get Chase Hooper over Alexander Hernandez. Chase Hooper is going to have a significant advantage in the grappling department. Give me Lupita Godinez. She is going to be the much better fighter than Jessica Andrade. Give me Carlos Prates. He's going to have more ways to win over Jeff Neal. And give me Khamzat Chimaev. I believe his wrestling pressure and his strength alone is going to be too much for Dricus du Plessis. And I think we see the title switch hands come UFC 319. Without further ado, that's been the picks, the breakdowns, and the reviews of each fighter's fights last 5-3. And I believe we bounce back in the win column with this one. My parlay politicians, I'll see y'all Saturday.
This is how we win. We game plan, we use our fight IQ, and we beat motherfuckers up. Anyone else got any questions?